it might seem laughable to certain people of, well, how can you have virtual sparring? You know, what are you talking about? But the actual, okay, well, you're not in danger, you're not going to get hit, you know, there's not going to be an accident, so there's no threat. But if we take away the kind of fear element, and that's a major part of it, let's be honest, but even then, if we're sparring, we can also be honest about that. It's not a fight. You know, that you've got gloves on, you're in a safe atmosphere, you're with friends, there's somebody like checking the time and make sure, give you some tips, make sure you're safe. In the street, that doesn't happen. You know, there is no timer, and it's a horrible thing. I don't promote violence, and I don't go straight in at it like that, because also it can be quite irresponsible for me to say, you know, if somebody said, oh, you do this and you'll win every fight, that's complete BS, and it's dangerous. You can't do that. So I mean, I've been training Wing Chun. I've been in Wing Chun for 40 years now, I realized, and it's well, I think it's great, but I don't. When I started my class in whenever it was, February 91, I said to my students I didn't want to teach Wing Chun. I wanted people to come to learn Wing Chun, and I was very adamant about that, and different in my approach, because like we have to kind of. I'm talking like this because I think if you understand my mindset, then our journey together is going to be, we're in sync, and that's going to help you to learn faster. So that's why I'm taking a minute on this. We understand that Wing Chun is simplified in like the alphabet is always a great one. You've got 26 letters. You learn those, and that's what the forms are. The forms are a way of you ticking that you've remembered every 26 letters. And that's why these things are in patterns as well, you know, because, okay, it could be written down, but, you know, in its origins, you go back a few hundred years ago, some of the people that were learning this, they couldn't read or write, you know, and this is a reason why when we're teaching something, the precision has to be there, because if there's dangly thumbs, that's like someone putting a comma or a full stop in the book, or turning that I into a T, you know, and it just doesn't, it starts to get messy. So we learn the alphabet, but then what you do, how you create words and sentences and all the rest becomes infinite. You can do whatever you like with them. In the same way as we need to understand that if, I've said this so often, if you can do Tan Sao, you can do Wing Chun. If you cannot do a Tan Sao, you cannot do Wing Chun, because everything is this. This is your punch or your Fox Sao or your Pak Sao or your side palm. It's all the same. It's just got interchangeable heads. It's like the Black and Decker in martial arts, you know. It just changes as we need it. So we understand the Tan Sao and a few simple positions. But when I'm attacking you, what I'm trying to get you to do is to mold to a particular shape, to go to a particular area. And as a backup, if in doubt, get out, you know, so you can move as well. You can get out of the way, we can turn with this. So these are the basic tools that you need. When we come to actual sparring, what is a sparring but you reacting to a trigger mechanism from me? If I come in with something at that point, that's what you're going to have to react to. People might say, well, just hit them. Well, we do. If I get too close to the screen, that's when you should be hitting. If I move back, I want you not to think, oh, it's safe, the hands are not in play, because the feet are. You know, I want you to realize that if something comes around here, you're going to need to move to it. That when you move to that, you continue to move. And also in conjunction with that, we don't then just switch off and forget about the punch that's coming in the other side as well. So I'm trying to give you things that will stimulate you. So you asked earlier, you mentioned that you wanted to practice a little bit more on understanding the names, the terminology of the techniques. I get that, absolutely I do. And so there's a little bit of a combination of needing those, but I need to stimulate your physical reaction as well as your mental ability. You watching the videos is the mental side of it. You remembering the patterns and the terminology is the mental side of it. When we have these sessions, or even when we look in the under my account, when you look at those virtual sessions that you're looking at, the virtual sparring, these are still ways that you can have the reaction training, the physical side of it taken from you. if you train anything, you decide what you're going to train, when you're going to do it, and how many you'll do. You know, you think, oh, practice the gowns or the quans, and you'll go through this, but you know what you're going to do and exactly when you're going to do it. If someone's standing in front of you, it's different now. I will decide what you're going to do, and I will decide when you're going to do the flipping thing. And so that's a great stimulus. And that's what the virtual sparring is about, of course. In so many ways, it's no different. The only thing that we're not really getting is obviously the contact, but, well, you're not really getting that contact in a street anyway, so it's already tamed down. But the only thing that I would say is that we don't get the range as much. So as long as we understand that that person is right in front of us, and that's the thing. Like on a couple of occasions when you did the laps, I was really big. You wouldn't need that because you're only, maybe if I want to hit, I just can't hit. It's just out of range, so I'm lapping, so I can pull him in a little bit more. But I don't need to pull him in so much or he'll fall on top of me. When I step in, is there room for me to step in? Has the person moved back? When we're doing the sparring, then I move away or you move away. That void between us has now entered into a different field, a different weapon of choice. So all of these factors are still being played out. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Use the wooden dummy, use it for positions and contact training. I don't usually say that. Contact training as well is not the biggest misconception really of wooden dummy is when people think it's for training and conditioning your arms, and it's not. Yeah, because if it's the dummy that's stopping you from moving, if that dummy suddenly disappeared, you've got flying past, of course. So it's about position. But when you go into a ball and you feel that little clunk, and you do a lap and you feel a little clunk and bang, these are feelings that we do need to get comfortable with a little bit. Punching the sandbags and stuff just a little bit. We don't have to go medieval on this thing, but a little bit is actually really, really good conditioning. I put something on our Facebook group of Wing Chun versus hypocrisy, I think it was. There's an Indian chap talking about some challenger, and I thought that was really interesting. And there's a really good point about this as well, and it is that when we put gloves on, people think that boxing gloves and stuff is there as padding, and it's not. It's a weapon. Because I guarantee, if you put some big boxing glove on, bang, you can whack that wall. You could punch that wall really hard, give it a good few solid punches. You wouldn't do that without the glove on. You take the glove off, you're going to hurt yourself. This is why people will be like, and again, it's a strange thing, this. Oh, I'm really worried about this guy because he's a Thai boxer, he's a Western boxer, he's a kickboxer. He's training with his gloves on all the time. It's very different when you don't have those gloves on. You're going to hurt yourself. Wing Chun, we don't use gloves. And that's the point. It's like everything that we do right now, right here, right now, is exactly what you're going to have. The same tool just you're going to have when it kicks off. So we have to train, we have to be comfortable with these bare hammers and what we're doing and that feeling that we're after. We wrap ourselves in cotton wool sometimes with sparring and putting on like the head shield and the gloves and all that. We can be, what's that word? We can get a false sense of security. That's the thing that we can acquire. So yeah, training the feel on the wooden dummy, important. Training the feel of the impact on a sandbag, on a wall bag, important. Training the positions on your own, important. Training the reactions with a partner here on this is important. And I think that's a massive thing that I've just said there. Those 4 points is everything that you need. And we haven't had a partner yet. So yay for online, I say. I honestly do, genuinely.